MicroStrategy stock just hit a new all-time high today, entering price discovery as it continues to absolutely rip. So why is MSTR exploding while Bitcoin chops sideways? Shouldn't the world's largest Bitcoin holding company just follow the price of Bitcoin? The curious case of MicroStrategy, which continues to confuse and enrage traditional investors, just might be setting up for the ultimate short squeeze, which would make GameStop look like child's play. So what is Saylor's endgame? Is MicroStrategy set to become the ultimate Bitcoin bank and the world's first trillion-dollar company? What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pure Bitcoin Signal. I'm Hurley, Director of Content with Swan. Now let's talk Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. So Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy has had one hell of a run. The company holds over 1% of the entire Bitcoin supply and has no sign of stopping their Bitcoin accumulation anytime soon.
So you're buying?
Yeah, I'll be buying at the top forever.
To give you an idea of how insanely well their Bitcoin strategy has done, MicroStrategy is up a whopping 1,570% since announcing they have started holding Bitcoin as their primary treasury reserve asset, with no major changes to their fundamental business. And in the process, Saylor has pulled off one of the most epic comeback story arcs of all time. MicroStrategy stock soared in late 1999 and early 2000 during the dot-com bubble, making Saylor one of the wealthiest men in the world at the time. And then almost overnight, MicroStrategy collapsed by over 90% and nearly didn't recover. But under Saylor's leadership, the company clawed its way out of the depths and became a profitable and moderately successful software company. Fast forward to 2020, and Saylor, who famously read the Bitcoin Standard, became deliriously orange-pilled and began buying Bitcoin to hold on the company's balance sheet, and the biggest Bitcoin bull of all time was born.
There is no second best. All your models are destroyed, completely devastated. Bitcoin goes to the moon.
Since their first purchase in August of 2020, MicroStrategy has not stopped buying Bitcoin. In fact, they have only accelerated, even taking on cheap debt in the form of government bonds in order to buy even more Bitcoin. But they weren't done there. MicroStrategy has also raised money by issuing more company shares. You would think this stock dilution would lower the value of the existing stock, but since they kept buying more Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin keeps increasing, it actually did the opposite and increased the stock value. This has all led to an explosion in MicroStrategy stock over the last few years, and especially in 2024, where the stock has quadrupled. Even though MicroStrategy stock trades at a premium to their Bitcoin holdings, the stock price does tend to follow the Bitcoin price. But lately there has been a divergence, with MicroStrategy pumping while Bitcoin stays relatively flat, prompting many, including Peter Schiff, to ask, what the heck is going on here? Could it be that the most compelling corporate finance story of our time is going on? MSTR is currently trading at 2.5x the value of its Bitcoin holdings, meaning when you buy the stock, you are paying for the value of the underlying Bitcoin it holds at a premium. And this has led some investment firms to call bluff and open significant short positions on MicroStrategy. Firms like Kerrisdale Capital, who very publicly announced a short position on the company to the tune of $3 billion. Here's a clip of Kerrisdale Capital CIO Sam Adrangi talking about their short position earlier this year.
I think if it owns $14 billion of Bitcoin, the company should be valued at $14 billion by the market. What you see is a premium that makes no sense. You know, situations where they own $15 billion of Bitcoin, but the market's valuing them at $35 billion. I mean, a bank holding $100 is valued at $100. It shouldn't be valued at $500. So that's MicroStrategy.
So as Adrangi says, Kerrisdale's simplistic thesis is that MicroStrategy is just a Bitcoin holding company. So their value should match the value of the Bitcoin they hold and not translate to a significant premium like it does. So they go short MicroStrategy and long Bitcoin, leveraging the value gap, thinking it will inevitably close. And since they made this trade public in the spring of this year, MicroStrategy has kept buying Bitcoin, and the stock price has increased by another 20%, even reaching new all-time highs just today. So what could be happening here is that Kerrisdale is selling Bitcoin in order to buy MicroStrategy stock to cover their short position. And this will inevitably lead to MicroStrategy purchasing more Bitcoin, which will increase the price of Bitcoin, which will increase the MSTR stock price. Rinse, lather, repeat. It seems like Saylor and MicroStrategy has found a loophole in the system. They are leveraging the debt-based infinite money of the fiat system to buy the most finite and scarce asset known to man in Bitcoin. I think BitPain says it very well in this post on X. You need to stop asking why MSTR is valued in fiat terms more than its BTC is currently worth, and start asking why the market thinks 6 companies could be worth 15x all the money in the world despite owning none of it. He's talking about Bitcoin here. The point is that fiat valuations are not rational. The equation is not balanced. Saylor is using the irrational market value of fiat today to buy a commodity whose future value is 1,000x more than the market is currently valuing it at. He is using the fiat system in effect to print money to buy Bitcoin. And as such, MSTR is forcing the market to begin pricing the collapse of the dollar into the valuation of its stock. So what's the endgame here? How much higher could the premium of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings go? This chart showing the Bitcoin bull cycle powered NAV multiplier would suggest things could get real spicy. It suggests that at a 100K Bitcoin price, the MicroStrategy stock could see a near doubling from here to just under $400 per share. And the NAV multiplier only increases as the Bitcoin price increases, going to insane levels of up to 10 to 30x net asset value. If accurate, this could make MicroStrategy the largest company and Saylor the richest man in the world. And today, it looks like he just announced his endgame for where he wants to take the company in a recent interview with Bernstein, where he said, "The endgame is to be the leading Bitcoin bank or merchant bank, or you could call it a Bitcoin finance company. Bitcoin is going to millions a coin, and then we can create a $1 trillion company." So if Bitcoin is headed to the moon, then Saylor is headed for world domination. The big takeaway here is that MSTR is basically a leveraged play on Bitcoin. It seems like it's becoming the Bitcoin alpha play that shitcoins have been in previous cycles. And this is good for Bitcoin and bad for shitcoins. But of course, with leverage comes risk. And it's important to note that buying Bitcoin proxies, whether it be ETFs, mining stocks, or MSTR, introduces risk into the equation where simply buying real Bitcoin in self-custody does not. The smartest long-term play for anyone bullish Bitcoin is, of course, to buy and hold real Bitcoin yourself.